Hey guys, this is Alex from sudoadmins.com. Today I'm going to be talking about installing Arch Linux. Now, Arch Linux is a great distribution to be playing with if you really want to get your hands dirty and you want to kind of get to know how everything works and how everything fits together. You kind of have to know that stuff in order to install it and work with it. But for that same reason, it's very difficult to learn. And although there's great resources that I've seen out there, including first and foremost the Arch Wiki. If you haven't checked that out, do that right away. There's so much well-written information on there that should be your first stop. But my intention with this today is to really simplify everything and make it so easy that anybody could do it. Like, you could teach a child this, and that's kind of a tall order, but I don't know. I'll try, and I guess you'll have to let me know if it made any sense. So part of how I'm going to make this so easy is we're going to use a virtual machine. If you've never used a virtual machine before, I'm not going to go over that in this video. But the advantage, the obvious advantage here is that we won't have to be dealing with, hardware drivers or anything that might not be supported by Arch Linux. Let's say you were originally planning on, installing it to an old laptop or something. You can run into all kinds of problems with that it's hard for other people to give you advice even on how to get through it, because it's kind of unique to you, your hardware and everything. But anyways, a virtual machine really standardizes the process, and pretty much anyone can go through the same steps and achieve the same goal and the same ends. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with a new one, and we're going to call it Arch. Okay, and yeah, we are really just going to go through all the defaults. So it's all good, all good. Alright, so here we are. Next thing we have to do is make sure that we've selected it and hit settings. We're going to go to storage, and then if you haven't already downloaded an Arch Linux ISO file, the installer image, then you're going to want to do that. So let me see if I know what I'm doing here. Okay, yeah, and then we go choose disk, and then you might have some stuff here that it asks you for something. We're just going to go ahead, hit add. That way we can select whatever we want. Okay, so now I'm at my desktop. Here's my ISO. Got it. Perfect. Okay, and now we're ready to start her up. Alright, here we are at the Arch boot screen. If you've gotten this far, then you are already doing great. Okay, so hopefully this isn't too small, but I'm going to go to, just with the first option, boot Arch Linux. You probably noticed that there's no install option, and that's going to become very clear pretty soon, is that this is not an automated task. I mean, it could be, but that's what makes Arch unique, right? So the first kind of journey we're going to go on is in setting up the disk and partitioning the disk so that we have something to install it on. Let me see if I can Okay, I think that's as good as we're going to get. Okay, so yeah, like I said, the first thing we're going to do is configure the disk so that we can install something on it and make sure it's bootable. We're going to do that with the CF disk utility. So we're going to do CF disk dev SDA. Now, dev SDA is kind of like the default device, storage device, but I can show you if we do lsblk. We see all of our devices. We've got a loopback device, we've got ROM, then we've got the one disk. So yeah, we're opening dev SDA and CF disk, and it's going to ask us for a label type the first time we use it, and we're going to go with the second option, which is disk, and we're going to go new, and for our purposes we're only going to do one partition, so just go for the defaults, gigabytes primary, and let's see, and obviously we're going to want to make sure that it's bootable, so we're going to select the bootable option, and we can write that and be done with that. And yes, we would like that. Okay, the partition table has been altered. Now we can quit. And clear. Okay. Now, so we go back to lsblk. This is what I showed you earlier. We've got the same loopback, we've got the same disk and ROMs, but this time we have dev SDA1 attached to SDA, and that's the partition we just created. So that worked. We're all good there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a file system on that partition. So we're going to do mkfs ext4 and dev SDA and then a partition, which is 1. So there we go. That went according to plan. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to mount the partition so that we can actually use it like a file system should be used. So mount. Well, hold on. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, we already have the MNT directory. What we're gonna do is we're gonna mount the dev SDA1 to the mount directory so that we can use dev SDA1 by going through the MNT directory. So mount dev SDA1 MNT, and we can cd to MNT and take a look, and there's nothing there. There's a lost and found file, and that just kind of tells us that we're doing things correctly. So the next thing we need to do, and this might take a while depending on your connection and everything, but now we need to install all of the base packages onto our device, onto dev SDA1 or MNT, the MNT directory. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to use a certain utility of the package manager, and it's called packstrap. So we're going to do packstrap mnt, and we're going to install the base packages and the grub packages. The grub packages are going to allow us to install grub onto the device as well, and that's gonna, that's gonna boot us into the operating system. So that's gonna be one of the last steps. So we're just gonna go ahead and wait. I think I might even just pause the video right here, and we can get back to it when this is all said and done. Alright, so I'm back. It just occurred to me as I was waiting and checking out that last part that the screen was not recording all that it should have been, and that was just kind of an issue with the second monitor and the resolution. Everything's just kind of confused. So you should have seen everything in the last part except for maybe part of the CF disk, but I was talking through it, so hopefully you get the point. But anyways, now I've kind of rescaled it, so hopefully you can see the whole screen and everything. But anyways, we're about halfway there. Now that the base packages are all installed, we can what we're going to do is we're going to generate an fstab file for the new operating system that's going to be on the disk, the new Arch installation. And what that's going to do is it's going to tell the computer how to mount the disk when it boots, and specifically that it has to. You can, if you don't really understand what I'm saying, you should check out. You should look into the etc fstab file, but to get through this video, you don't really need to understand it. But anyways, just follow along. We're gonna do gen fstab to generate an fstab file, dash capital U and mnt, which is, remember that's where our hard disk is at now. And we are going to use the output of that command, and we're going to put it into mnt etc fstab. So there we go, and if we want, we can take a look at what's in there. Okay, if we want, we can take a look at what's in there. So we can go etc, cat mnt etc fstab. Okay, so as you can see, what's in the file, it reminds us that we are looking at dev sda1. That's just a comment, but then it gives the UUID of the storage device. It shows where everything has to be mounted, which is the root directory, that it's an ext4 file system, that it's read-write, all that stuff. So anyways, if you've never done anything with the fstab file, now you kind of have an idea of what it does, hopefully. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to change the root directory to mnt, which again is our new disk. So arch hyphen chrot and mnt. So we've changed the root directory, and we can now do the last step to finish up, which is installing grub. So we're going to go grub -install dev sda. And we don't need to specify the partition. So installation finished, no error reported. That's all good. Now we just need to generate a grub configuration file, and to do that we're going to do grub mk config o boot grub.cfg. Alright, so that's pretty much all there is to it. Now we can restart the system. So that's what we're going to do. Power off. So we're going to exit root and power off. Okay, now we are going to restart it, just to show you that I'm not lying, that everything worked. And we're going to go boot existing OS, otherwise it's just going to go back into the live CD. And here we are. And Arch Linux login, root, and here we are. No root password. So now that we're basically done, there's a lot of directions you can go with this, depending on what you actually, care about, how much you want to play with this. One of the things you're going to realize very quickly, if you're used to using, I don't know, Ubuntu or anything, maybe you're going to try to use the package manager and update your repositories or download some software, and you're going to quickly realize that networking isn't working. So I can just show you, like, ping. I can just ping anywhere, and we get nothing, just nothing at all. Pack, and say I want to install Vim. Great, we install Vim, and failed retrieving file from literally everywhere. So the live CD, to put it simply, has networking configured so that you can install stuff, but it doesn't have networking configured once you've actually installed it. You still see there's post-installation steps that you need to work through, and I've got other videos on that, so hopefully you can check out on my channel a playlist for Arch Linux, and this will be the first one in it. Then after that I'll have some more that help you go with configuring the networking, installing swap space, and doing stuff like that. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, this has been Alex from sudoadmins.com. Thanks for watching.